Big pile of clothes. Let me move that. Okay, that's tidier. Hey you guys, it's Dana and it's Tuesday and we're going to talk about money, and today in this video we are going to discuss tracking your spending or expenses throughout the month. Let's get to it. Alright, so Kelly asked me to do a video talking about how we track our spending. So thank you, Kelly, for the video idea. And I figured this was a good one on the heels of last week's video, which was talking about how to budget for the month. And I gave you guys a free download of the Excel spreadsheet we use. And I think there was a couple other people in the comments too of that video who were talking about how to track your spending for the week. And then somebody also asked about flexible income, right? So I think I'm going to touch on that a little bit too. So hopefully you're watching this video, because I don't know if I'm going to title it that way. But so first of all, the way that I track our spending is with my phone, okay? So I have an app for the bank. And well, before I get into that, before I talk about that, the best way to track it is to use cash, right? Cash is king. So when you are setting your budget for the month, the best thing to do is to be taking out cash. So if you get paid on Friday, this is what we do. You know, we get paid on Friday, we have it set into the budget, how much money we're spending on groceries every week. So then that's in the budget in the beginning of the month. And then every Friday, my husband, Jim, goes to the bank and he takes out the cash, and they know him now and they know what amount he's going to be taking out every time he goes. So they know him by name and they're starting to get to know the kids. So he goes and he takes out the cash every week. And then this has worked out perfect for us because I had talked about too how we fight. The biggest thing we fight about, my husband and I, has been food, right? So my husband likes to go grocery shopping like every day. And we try to do just once a week. I would like it if he would do that, but he likes to go every other day and pick up, one or two things. And we're running out of this, the kids need another box of granola bars. And then that gets hard to track, right? Because then you're going to have like a transaction every day or every other day if you're not using cash. Then, that can add up. Dave Ramsey calls it, 1,000 little cuts, is what's going to give you that deep wound. And that's how a lot of people end up in debt, is that they continue to spend little amounts here and there, and like $2, every day going to a local convenience store. We have Wawa. We love our Wawas here in the Philadelphia area. So if Jim goes to Wawa every day and gets like a cup of coffee, which he doesn't do this, but every morning, like when I drive by Wawa, you see like a million guys going in like in trucks. Like they're parking, going in, and they're coming out with their coffees or whatever. Or every day they go and get a hoagie for lunch. And then all of those little purchases every day, they can add up. And especially if you're using credit cards for little purchases, you could do it's just $5, it's just $10, but then before you know it, you've spent a crap load of money, right? So, if you have all these like transactions every other day, you might not think you're spending a lot of money, going back to the grocery store example, but if you add it up, you could have really blown your budget for the week. And that's what was happening with my husband and I. So it's best so it really minimizes the fights. He takes out the cash on Friday. And I said, you can go to the grocery store every day if you want to. If you want to go to the grocery store every single day and buy something, that's fine. As long as because you have your cash, and when the cash runs out, then you know that you're done. You can't buy anything else for the rest of the week. Like there's no more food. Like that's it. You spent all the cash. And then I don't have to worry about it from a budgeting standpoint for, tracking all that spending, because it's just that one transaction of taking out the cash, and then that's it. And we have that in our budget. That's what we set at the beginning of the month. However, so if there is little spending going on though that you have to track, then I look at my app. So I have my bank app on my phone, and then I can log in, and I log in every day. You have to make it a habit. And like the question was, so it's not too time consuming, but 5 minutes a day I think is really necessary to log into your bank app and just make sure there's no transactions going on there that you don't have in your budget spreadsheet, what it's supposed to be. So if there's extra spending, then you will have to go back to your budget spreadsheet and add it in there so that you can adjust some other things, right? Because at the end of the day, when you set your budget, you're going to have nothing left for the end of the month. Like you allocated all the money coming in. So if you're spending more money than you had, what you had set in your budget, then you're going to have to go back and lower something else. Otherwise, you're going to be in the negative by the end of the month, and you don't want that. So every day I take 5 minutes and I look at my phone on the bank app just to make sure, did we buy something the day before that I didn't have in the budget? And then I'm going to have to go into my spreadsheet and update it if we did. But if you, like I said, if you do all cash, if you're on a cash system in your family, then you should be taking out cash for grocery shopping or clothes or whatever you're buying, your mad money, we call it, like just extra money to go and stop at those convenience stores if you want to. So we take out the mad money that we have, which is just whatever spending that we want to spend on. So if you have the cash system set up, then you're taking out the cash. You don't have to worry about those little transactions. But if you set in your budget $50 a month to buy clothes, and then that $50, you're having to track it throughout the month because you're doing purchases online through Amazon or whatever, then that is like, you have to look like there's nothing for it. Unless you have another app, such as the Every Dollar app, that is from the Ramsey Solutions team. They have that app and I think that you can link it to your bank account, and then it'll maybe adjust it, like you'll see it then in the app. And then obviously I think there's other apps too, other programs that you can link to your account, and then they'll adjust for you. And then that you wouldn't have to look at it. But I still think, even if you have an app doing it, that it's important, you're going to be looking at something every day just to make sure you're on track, or every other day. You can't, because the things that you focus on in your life, if you're wanting to be on top of your finances or get out of debt or whatever, you have to focus on it, meaning you can't forget about it the whole month and not think about it and not focus somewhat on it. Because if you don't, then it's going to get out of your control, right? There's some power to that. So you do have to be somewhat focused, not obsessed with it, okay? Obsessing over anything is not good, but you have to focus on it, meaning every day or every other day for just a couple minutes, you have to think about it so it doesn't get out of your control, which is not what we want. We want to be in control of it. We want to be the big boss of our money, right? And then, so to go back to, if you have an income which is variable, and setting your budget, just to answer that question quickly at the end of the video here, again, this is where you have to look at it every day, right? So, but if you are setting your budget at the beginning of the month and you're not sure how much money you're going to make, you probably have an idea, right? You have some kind of idea, but you could shorten it to a 2-week budget. Every 2 weeks you have a new budget, and then that helps you have a little bit more control over that. But you usually have some kind of idea about what you're going to make. Like on YouTube, I make a different amount of money every month. It's very variable depending on the ad revenue, whether I'm doing sponsored videos that month. So that's very flexible. I don't know in the beginning of the month exactly how much money I'm going to be making month to month. But I have a good idea based off the past, right? So you just have to, what did you make last month or last year at this time? In this month last year, if you and your husband or partner had this job, then what did you do last year at this time? So you have some kind of beginning ground where you can guess about how much it's going to be, and then you work your budget off of that. And then as the money comes in, go back into your budget and adjust it, put the actual amount in. Just like sometimes maybe we didn't know we were getting a bonus or something, and if we get a bonus, then woo, yay, money. Then I go back to the budget, I plug it in, and I adjust the amounts of what we're paying towards debt or whatever, or towards savings. Then I go back in and I have to adjust the whole thing in the middle of the month because we got an unexpected bonus. Woo! I wish that happened every month. But so if you have an income, like I said, you're going to have, that's variable. You just are going to have to guess in the beginning, then throughout the month, go back in, and you want to guess conservatively maybe. That way you're not left in a lurch. Hopefully you're making some small base salary that that you can plug in there. And then as it comes in, then you're going to adjust it. So, all right, so that is what to do with a variable income, and also how we track our spending throughout the month. And, like I said, it's just something that you are going to have to commit to spending a few minutes every day to. I was just away on vacation. I didn't have internet connection for a couple days, which I did not like at all. But I just had to, before we left, I tried to make sure everything was in order and, with our banks and everything was good, money wise. And then when we got back, I checked it and everything's fine. But there was a couple days I didn't look at it. Obviously I didn't have internet connection, but, everything should be on track, especially if you've been doing your budget for several months, then you should have a good feel for what's going on. But tracking spending, again, like you should know whether you or your partner are going out and buying something huge or what you're spending money on. But you will have to check in with your account every few days. Okay, so I think that I explained that enough. Somebody said I was repeating myself in a video once. Remember, I have a husband who is hearing impaired, and I have to repeat myself to him for him to hear me sometimes, and I have 4 children. Does anybody else have this problem with their kids where they're not really hearing impaired, but they act like they are? And I have to say it over and over and over again when you have small kids. It's time to get in the bath. It's time to get in the bath. Okay, it's time to get in the bath. Bath time. Okay, all right, you guys. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If it's your first time here, be sure to subscribe. I'm here every single Tuesday talking all about money. And that's it. All right, talk to you next video. Bye, guys.